Welcome to Ope. I Found a Weird Show. I'm Laura.
I'm Beanz.
And I'm Lauren.
So I found a weird show called From, and I wanted to talk about it. And that's kind of what this podcast is. Us finding something weird and going, hey, friends, come on this deep dive with me. And I just really, really want to talk about the show From with other people. So that is why I have brought you lovely ladies together today. Are you excited for this?
Hell yeah. I'm very excited.
I am excited to just be alive. Let's get into it.
So I know I watched From a couple months ago. I watched the whole thing. There were 3 seasons when it was recommended to me by my boyfriend, and I literally binge watched them in 4 days. I'm sorry that I'm making you suffer through not being able to binge watch. But I appreciate your sacrifices.
And it's truly a sacrifice because I binge watch everything. So having only seen 2 episodes of it, I need the rest as soon as possible.
So for everybody in the audience, the few people who listen, each podcast we will recap an episode of the show and talk about our favorite parts of the episodes and theories. And I promise not to spoil any of the upcoming twists as best as I can. So for anybody not familiar with what From is, what show that is, the little description for it on Amazon Video is From unveils the mysteries of a nightmarish town that traps all those who enter. As the unwilling residents fight to keep a sense of normalcy and search for a way out, they must also survive the threats of the surrounding forest, including the terrifying creatures that come out when the sun goes down. Lauren absolutely hates those terrifying creatures.
I look away when they're on the screen, but that's me with anything horror, supernatural. But yeah, so anytime we watch, I'll just be like, I didn't watch that part. Or I want to cover my ears, but I can't because I have headphones on.
Well, it didn't really help that it was like, here you go, cold open, no intro even, here's a monster.
Yeah, but also maybe I did need that so that I could just be thrown into the deep end, and it's not too bad going forward.
And like I had warned you, I believe that the majority of the scares are pretty well telegraphed. Like, you know it's coming, as opposed to like a surprise jump scare. Now, it doesn't necessarily make it less scary.
But it makes it easier for me to close my eyes in advance and then make you rewind, pause it so that I can see what the monster is without the jump scare aspect.
True.
The monster in the beginning didn't startle me until I realized it was the second story.
Oh.
That is, yeah. Yeah, you don't ever really want something knocking on the second story window.
I was like, oh, it's grandma. This is not a great thing for you to do. And then when they did the thing and they're like, hey, this happened. And they're looking up at the open window. That was on the second story.
Yes. Yeah, kids are stupid.
I know, I have one.
So let's start with the recap of episode 1, and absolutely feel free to jump in, ladies, if you have anything. I know there's lots of that first episode. There is so much introduction to all these characters and just little bits of it, but we'll go through the recap of episode 1, Long Day's Journey into Night. So this episode begins in a small town that looks normal on the surface, but you can tell there's something off. There's a lot of abandoned cars by the side of the road and everybody heading in before nightfall. Sheriff Boyd Stevens is kind of one of the big main characters of the series, and he's walking around town ringing a bell to call people in for the night. And at one point, a little girl that we've kind of talked about a little bit, Megan, is playing outside, and her mother, Lauren, sorry, Lauren.
Yeah, I just want to interject in there. That is my name and my sister's name, so this was already traumatic for me.
Well, you don't have to share the name anymore.
I know. I don't have to worry because she's already dead. Cool.
True.
Thanks. That's very comforting.
You're welcome.
They only keep talking about her for several episodes still.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yay.
But her mother, Lauren, calls her inside. And then we cut to the small town clinic where Kenny Lou who is the sheriff's deputy, is playing chess with his father. And then Christy, the town doctor, comes up to tell him it's time to go down to the basement for the night. Mr. Lou has a bit of a break or a breakdown, but they manage to settle him down. It's clear, and they do say a little bit later that he's suffering from dementia, which, like, awful in that kind of scenario where, like, you don't know what's going on for a lot of it. Like, that would be devastating to deal with. Kenny and Christy go outside and they clearly like each other. They're like little flirty, like looking at each other like, "Ooh, I'm gonna giggle off to the side." And ooh, it's in that awkward phase. So something is clearly potentially gonna happen with those two. And you can see at one point after that, Sheriff Boyd is kind of looking out, making sure everybody in the town is in for the night, and he's looking up at this like really big house. So they're kind of two groups. There's the townspeople and then the people at the large house, which we find out is called Colony House a little later. But there's these two kind of factions in this universe or whatever it is, this area. Uh but everybody goes in for the night and locks their doors and covers their windows. And also, like, these little, like, talismans are what they keep calling them. There are these stones that are etched into, are hanging in all the buildings. So something's up with them. It seems like they keep the creatures away. At the local bar, a man named Frank is passed out on the floor. The bartender tries to wake him up, but gives up on him and just lets him sleep there for the night. Frank is Megan's father, and Megan and Lauren are worried about him. They're kind of standing out like, sometimes he's forgetful, daughter. And so
Mhm.
they lock up for the night. So after that, later that night, Megan is in her room saying her prayers when she hears a soft knock at her window on the second story. How old do you guys think Megan is?
I'd say like 10 or 11.
Yeah, old enough to know better.
Well, and
Right?
And one thing I thought was very interesting was like they'd shown all the people like closing up, locking up, but they showed like all of the windows were covered. And when they go into Megan's room and show her doing her prayers, like her windows are not fully covered. Like there's still like half a foot gap at the bottom of them. And like I clocked that and was just like, why is this girl's room not like fully boarded up, but everywhere else is? That's weird.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's
So,
an excellent
being
point.
a mom, let me defend the show a little bit. Being a mom of a child who is terrified of everything but strangers, um, you gotta let a little bit of light in, otherwise they start, like, freaking out going, "There's monsters!" I mean, yes, there is monsters, this kid does have every right to be afraid, which you would think
Yes.
she would want this covered up, but, the monster under the bed is always scarier than the actual monsters.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like go back to what Laura said. Like she's old enough to like be fully aware of these monsters. So
Oh,
I don't know. If
100%.
if it was me or my kid, I would just be like, I don't give a shit if you're scared of these like theoretical monsters in your head. Like there are actual monsters, and if you see one at your window, which clearly they can get to, that would be more scary. Just like fully close the windows and also don't ever talk to any of them. She should know. She's old
Well,
enough. She should know.
and also, like, I'm sorry, but if I had a child in this crazy universe where there are nighttime monsters, me and the child would constantly be together.
Well, and
Yeah.
is there not like a room in this house that is not like on the outside? Like there's no like windowless rooms that we could just like bunk in for the night? Because speaking for myself, if I knew that monsters were out there trying to get in and they could come up to my windows and talk to me, I would be in the furthest inside room possible. I don't care what room it is. That would be where I spent the nights, just so I wasn't hearing it.
Yeah, that's very fair. Like, why even give in to the temptation of the whispers?
Like, I
I mean,
wouldn't be able to sleep if I was just hearing people whisper at my window all random temptation stuff or, like, lying to me that they're my, loved ones that I haven't seen.
or that are passed away, because I think
Right.
didn't they say that their grandma was, like, dead or
Well, she says
something?
she doesn't look like so Megan hears a woman's voice telling her it's her grandmother, and she goes to the window and she sees the old woman outside smiling and like speaking sweetly to her like let me in. And she she asks to be let in, and even though Megan says I shouldn't open the windows, I know better, and it you don't even look like my grandma. Like
Maybe
she
there's something that we have, well, at least that 2 of us haven't seen yet, where they do have some sort of power of,
yeah, I do think
temptation or
I
yeah.
do think, like, the whispers get to you and kids are more susceptible, and I think even, Boyd says that in the 2nd episode where he's like, "Kids are more," or somebody says that at,
Okay.
one of the first episodes is, yeah, kids are more susceptible to it, to the whispers.
I I do think that they do have a power, because we did kinda get a glimpse of that in, I think, the 2nd episode, where that one is approaching one of the female, actresses
Julie.
there. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, guys, I'm really bad with names.
Oh, I
Like,
am also horrible with names. I had to write them all
incredibly,
down.
I will give you nicknames. Like, I will give you a nickname, and it's over.
So,
That's your name now.
bitchy teen daughter.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, he was walking up to her, he's like, "Do you remember me?" And she looked like she remembered the physicalities of what it was mimicking. We know it wasn't him.
Well,
Yeah,
but I think we should save more of that talk for
true,
the second
Mhm.
true.
episode
Yeah, we're
because
not
I
even
did
to
have a
the
couple of things
intro.
But
about that
but I'm
interaction to
saying
talk
I
about.
do think that they do have some form of mimicry up their
Yeah.
little grubby sleeves.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, we
100%.
haven't even hit the intro yet on the first episode. So yes. Uh so even though Megan's like, I shouldn't do this, you don't even look like grandma, she does what kids do in horror movies is she opens the window. And this is the first glimpse that we get of the creatures as the grandmotherly face morphs into a monster and attacks. Que sera, sera. Uh, that is, which again, I've said this a few times when we were talking previously. That is my favorite version of the Que sera, sera song. It is so creepy and beautiful.
It's haunting and a little bit nihilistic, so I enjoyed it. It's very fitting for this show and the vibe they're going for.
Yeah. Yes. And it pairs so well with the crayon drawings of murder. Uh,
Woo. Love a good crayon drawing of, monsters and blood and missing limbs.
yeah. Creative
He's
children.
Yes.
So now we jump to the Matthews family. Jim the father, Tabitha the mother, and their kids, Julie the teenage daughter, and Ethan, and I would say he's probably about 10 years oldish son.
Yeah, something like that.
They are traveling in an RV on a road trip. But you can tell that there's some tension in the family. Like the son and the daughter, well, the daughter's doing this little puppet show story thing and murders one of the little toy things, not Nathan. And like the son's all, you murdered him. And the parents are like, ugh, stop being a bratty teenager. So like there's a little
Mhm.
tension, but it doesn't feel too off, I
Normal
don't think.
sibling crap.
Yes.
Yeah. Typical older sibling, younger sibling, especially with what appears to be quite the age gap.
Yes.
Yes. So now we are back in at the town, and Frank wakes up and starts to walk home from the bar. There are a bunch of people outside his house, and he's kind of like joking, "Oh, did Lauren call you guys over for a bake or for whatever?" And then Sheriff Boyd comes storming out of that house and just starts ripping Frank a new one. You motherfucker! And like slaps him across the face and tells him that the rules are if you have kids, you nail the motherfucking window shut. Which, like, yeah, that makes sense, right? Like, why
Yeah.
give the children temptation? Uh,
I'd be
Frank
nailing every window shut regardless of if it was on a kid's room.
I mean,
It's like,
honestly,
I don't need
same.
the windows open if there's even the threat of a monster out there, day or night, nailing that shit shut.
Now I do have a question for you guys, because I didn't mention this. When Boyd walks up to the post office, which is kind of like the sheriff
Mhm.
space, on the outside it had a sign, "No incidents in, like, 96 days." So that's 3 months. Is that enough time for you to get complacent in Demon Land?
No. No, I'm sorry, it's not. Like
I think yes, depending on how long you had been there before, like, the 96 days and, like, how long between each incident prior to that. I feel like it's not as simple as, like, yes or no. I feel like there's, like, a lot of things, but also it's like, oh, if I've been doing, like, the same routine daily and, like, I think I got it down, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But
No,
also I'm
that's fair.
lazy, so that might be a part in that too.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's fair, because you do get kind of a sense of normalcy where you'll fall into a rhythm and you'll kind of let things slide that you probably shouldn't.
Well, and I mean, for me, again, I can only speak for myself in this situation, but I feel like I would do a lot of stuff one time that would make it so I wouldn't have to like have a huge checklist before every night. Like my windows would be nailed shut 24/7. They would be one and done. And like, yeah, maybe I'd check on them weekly or something. But like I feel like it would just be like, "Oh, I'm inside my house, the talisman's up," like, there's not that much else you can do. Granted, like, Frank is a drunk, so he's in a
Yes.
very different situation of, like, I don't know if it's complacency or just, like, not giving a shit anymore.
True. And like, no offense to dead Lauren, alive Lauren. Um but like, it's her fault that windows weren't nailed shut either. Like, why
Oh,
did
yeah, it's on both parents, and, like, when she walked into the room, she had time to go run and grab her child, and she just,
Yes.
like she tried the approach of, like, the calm, like, "Hey, don't do that," but, like, no, she could have beaten her to the window.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Frank finally notices that that upstairs window is open, and he just starts to break down. And but Boyd is like, "No, you're going to see what you fucking did." And he drags him upstairs, and we see the aftermath of the creature attack. So Lauren and Megan's chests are completely ripped open, and like their organs are gone. So that's like gross. Um they yeah, more than just weird vampire things that need to be invited into the house, something
And
else is going on.
it was just their chest, right? Like, nothing was wrong with their face or their legs, like, it was just their chests, like, the abdominal cavity, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So Frank breaks down and is crying because I can't look and all that stuff, and Boyd tells Kenny lock him up, and walks out and comes across Father Cadre, who's coming in, and just, yeah, it's a rough scene. So back at the RV with the Matthews family, they're driving down the road, but they see a large tree blocking the road. There is no way around it. They get out to check it out, and a bunch of crows start circling in the sky, and the clouds get all weird and stuff. And they get back in the RV and turn around to find another way. Which, yeah, like, no offense, but if like birds are doing weird stuff, I'm like, no, this is not a place I need to be. So Sheriff Boyd goes over to Colony House, and we meet one of my favorite characters. You guys have not got to meet a ton of her yet. She does show up more in episode 2, which we watched, but Donna. Donna is a badass. I love Donna. She does have her flaws and things like that, but I mean, if you are
Who
living
doesn't?
in exactly. And if you are living in Nightmare Land, to have like the balls of steel that woman has, you
Right.
guys are gonna love Donna. I have some other favorite characters that are real choices that you guys are not gonna love. Uh, but Donna, I think we can all get on board with a strong ass woman. So they talk about having an agreement. Like, Donna's like, "We had an agreement, Sheriff. You're not supposed to come up to the house." So she's in charge of the Colony House, and Sheriff Boyd is in charge of the town. But he's there to see his son, so it's interesting that they don't live in the same place. Ellis, who is Sheriff Boyd's son, and Fatima, who is Ellis's girlfriend, are upstairs. Ellis is doing a drawing of her and is all like, "You look like a poem." Uh, and they are both surprised to see the sheriff. Fatima's response is very positive. Ellis is, "I hate you, father." Uh, Boyd tells Ellis about the deaths and asks him to come to the service for them, but there's some serious tension between father and son there.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
it
oh,
leaves a
go
lot of
ahead.
questions. Sorry, I was just
Yeah.
gonna say leaves a lot of questions as to like what's their backstory? Where's the mother? And why do they not live together? Well, I mean, I guess Ellis is old enough to not live with his father, but why are they on the opposite faction?
Yeah. Yeah. And that is something that definitely will get answered later. Uh which there's a few questions that we've talked about off when we were watching the episodes that I'm like, well, I don't even know the answer to some of it. But like some of it, yes, that does get answered. So meanwhile, the Matthews family have finally made it to town. They see all the townspeople at the funeral and stop. The funeral ends and Jim gets out of the car, which, okay, I would not. I think Jim was rude.
Well, it's one thing to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna like stand by the car and wait for the end of this funeral before I approach someone and ask." Like, but he doesn't wait. He just like starts crossing the street.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, ooh, I don't know. Like, that's not good funeral etiquette. Uh,
No.
but Sheriff Boyd tells all the people, he's like, you guys know what it was like when you got here. Don't talk to them. I'll talk to them. Which ends up being super weird.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what should be the proper protocol for a situation like this, like a town where no one can leave, but when everyone just flat out ignores him when he's asking direct questions to people, like I feel like that's not the right move. Like that's not comforting. That's not going to calm him down in any way.
No, absolutely not. That would just freak me out even more. Like, oh,
Right.
I'm in Crazy Town. Cool. I need to get out of here as fast as possible. These people are going to murder me.
Yeah, it doesn't help build any trust. It's just immediately like, "Oh, these people suck."
True. So Sheriff Boyd and Kenny come up to him and he asks, like, where's the highway? And they tell him, oh, if you just keep following the road, you'll get to the highway. Which, again, I don't know if this is the best way to get people to understand they are trapped, but maybe it's a bit of having people see it to believe it.
Yeah, it might be that they've tried to tell people in the past and they've just been like, "Screw you. That can't be true." But then I don't think this is the right way to do it either.
I don't know if there is a right way to do that because if you're like, "Oh,
No.
yeah, no, hey, welcome to Final Destination, pick a house." Uh, so it is almost because humans innately need to learn the hard way. Because like, when's the
Right.
last time your parent told you not to touch the hot stove? You touched it anyway. So it might just be a way to bridge that
Yeah.
so that way they come in with more, "What is going on?" versus, "What do you mean you're keeping me here?"
I feel like they could maybe do like a combination and just be like, "Hey, I know you're not going to believe me, but you're not going to be able to get out of this town. So like technically the highway's that way. When you loop a couple times, I'll be at the diner. Come talk to me."
Yeah. Yeah, to
Yeah,
kind
that
of
would be a
give
good way.
them, yes. You know what? Lauren, you're in charge of the new folks. You're the
No,
welcoming
no,
committee.
no, 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 no. You guys know my horror apocalyptic plan, and that is I'm out. I'm not doing any of that. I will not be in charge. Thank you. I will be dead.
That should be, like, the easiest one to survive, though.
Not according to the deaths we've already seen.
Don't have children.
I'm like,
Well, okay,
you know
check.
what? I said this before when you shared that TikTok of the like scary thing, like of the first scene, and then like the looking at the what was it, the
The Mickey
Mickey
Mouse
Mouse
Club.
Club?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, no, see, me and these creatures were cool. I just gotta avoid kids and like not have kids and avoid people and like
Well,
stay
and
inside.
I feel like we're getting off on a tangent, but I do have to say that, like, one of the easiest ways to survive this is to not be with anybody. Because, like, all the people in the colony house, it's like, yes, you've got people to talk to, all of that, but then, like, that's a lot of people that you're trusting to not open a window at some point. Like, everybody dies if one person messes up. So, like, I would be happy having, like, a community space for the daylight, but I wanna be completely by myself at night.
That's fair. 'Cause, that's you can only trust yourself kinda thing.
Right. Like, sorry, but I trust nobody with, like, creepy temptation demons.
That's fair.
But also, I would not be in this situation because I'm out.
She's just like, "Just take no oh, so I'm in crazy land where we loop
Oh.
and I'm stuck
Yeah, once
here?"
I figure out
Just
everyone's
nope.
telling the truth, I'm out.
So, Jim and the family take off, and they keep driving, and they make it back to town. They see Sarah on the road and try to talk to her. She ignores them, so they keep going. In that time, she meets up with her brother, and they have a conversation about it, and I kind of agree with what she said, that it's the worst part because you still expect to find the road that takes you home. Like, that the amount of confusion and panic and anxiety of being lost and not understanding what's going on would absolutely freak me out. And it kind of does that to Jim and Tabitha. They start fighting. They start bickering. They start, it's just like, you missed the turn. What turn? So and they drive back into town and around to go the other way to see if they can find a way out. And at that point, when they drive through town, Kenny and Sheriff Boyd go, "Yeah, I guess it's time to lay out the nail strip," which makes sense for all the flat tires around town of what happened. And I don't know, like, why. My only thoughts for the nail strip is that right now it's still daylight. So if they continue to let them drive into nighttime, they're gonna stop. They're gonna die.
It also is like, a lot of people were talking about, like, "Oh, the RV barreling through town." Like, it seemed like a lot of people were concerned that they might hit something or someone, so it was like, "Oh, we've let them drive around a bit, but they're getting erratic, and we need to stop it."
And you do see that because every time he goes through, he is going a little faster every time.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So they're back on the road, and all of a sudden, another car is on the road and swerving into their lane. So Jim turns sharp, not to hit the car, but the RV ends up in the forest on its side. So Jim wakes up. Julie seems fine, except for she hurt her back, but that seems to be okay. Just, little bangs and bruises from yeah, awful, awful accident. But Tabitha isn't responding. She's not waking up. And Ethan has a metal rod through his leg. So that's not good. Uh, the driver of the car stumbles out, throws up some blood, I think, and then stumbles into town and he's in pretty bad shape. But he meets up with Boyd and Kenny and lets them know there was an accident and they're like, "Another car?" So this doesn't seem to be a thing that happens very often. And there are only a few hours of daylight left. So we know we've got a time limit here on what's going on. Kenny takes the injured man, Toby, to the clinic and to grab help, and Boyd runs to get help and check on to go help the others and check on the injuries in the accident. When he kind of comes to the car, Jade is a new character as well. He was in the car, and he's exiting the back seat, and he seems high as fuck. Uh,
I literally wrote him down as just, "Hi, guy." I did not know his name at the time.
yes. Yep, his name is Jade. He is on something because he keeps telling everybody, he's like, "Your face is beautiful." Like, what?
Oh, yeah.
If I
Okay,
had to
dude.
guess just from his side effects alone, it's probably something along the lines of Molly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that. Party drug.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, but he is not injured, which, I mean, you know what? If you're gonna be in a car accident, might as well be loose and high, You're not gonna clench up and stuff. You're just like, "Yeah, I'm good." Uh, but because Sheriff Boyd doesn't want him to wander off, he handcuffs him to the car door to go help at the RV. Which, like, I get it. That's what I would do.
I we talked about this when I was watching it for the first time, and I was like, I don't know if I would handcuff someone to a car door if we've got hours left, because what if you get distracted and then you've just left this guy there to be eaten by monsters?" But maybe that's just my overthinking brain.
When I first saw it too, though, I was like, that's a choice. Like I get that he's not a lot of help right now, but I really feel like, I mean, he just told you were beautiful. I really feel like if you just open the back door and be like, hey, just sit here for a minute. I got to check on the other car. Okay. He probably would have.
Just give him a fidget spinner. I'm sure they've got loads of those laying around.
Just a nice little distraction. You're fine, buddy. You're okay.
Right.
So Kenny, Father Kotri, Christy, and Ellis drive down to the crash site to help. They manage to get Jim and Julie out of the RV. Neither of them have any serious injuries, and they manage to get Tabitha out, and her heart rate is fine, and she wakes up. She just probably got a pretty bad concussion. But Ethan is stuck with a table leg through his thigh. So Christy says she needs more
I
time than. Oh, go
I
ahead.
need to cut in because one of my favorite parts of this episode was, like, when he's waking up and he just goes, "I'm stuck." Like, I think you're a little bit more than stuck, buddy, but you're not wrong.
You know, yeah, yeah. Poor Ethan. What a way to enter this new demon land.
Right.
Fully
Impaled.
impaled, yes. So Christy says she needs more time than they have before the sun goes down. Boyd asks if she can fix him in the RV and pulls out one of the talismans. And like, do you think it'll work? And we're kind of like, what? and and Kenny's like, you can't risk it. And Christy's like, it'll work. All right, it'll
Well,
work, you know.
and I feel like I'm with Kenny on this of, like, are you serious right now? We're gonna be risking our sheriff, our doctor, just for these people, like, these people that we don't know? I guess I'm more of a cynic, but like, if you're in this situation, like, how far are you willing to go to maybe save people that are already injured? You don't know if they're gonna be able to provide any assistance for this, like, whole situation going forward, but you might be losing some of your most necessary people to try to save them.
And there's a part 2, and it's in the second episode, so I'll talk about my feelings on it a little bit more there, but I feel like they could have done this different. But,
Yeah.
I get why they did, but, like, I feel like they had options here
Yeah.
that weren't just, like, stay out in the creepy forest in the RV.
And I wanna also point out, this RV has a giant tree through the front windshield. So my question would also be, like, does that count as an open window? Like, I I don't know how many, like, what counts as an open window in this situation? Because I feel like they could get through that somehow.
Yeah, yeah, there's a lot of,
There's a lot of
uncertainty.
risk involved with this plan,
Yes, I agree.
and I'm a risk-averse person.
So, to, the probably the maybe the second or maybe the first most shocking moment in this episode. Back at the clinic, Sarah's sitting with Toby, the driver of the other car. He starts freaking out about the accident because he's like, Is everybody okay?" And she's like, "No, I don't think so." And he's like, "Oh, what did I do? What did I do?" And she like go- reaches out and touches his face and then kisses him on the lips, which is like full weird. Like it's full weird. And
Yeah. I think this was around the point where I was like, "She's sus. I don't trust her." Maybe it was right before the kiss, and then she kissed him, and I was like, "Yeah, it's getting worse."
yeah, and then she looks at him in the eyes. He's confused as hell. He's like he doesn't know what's going on, and she says, "This isn't your fault." And then she stabs him in like the under part of the chin of his chin, and like you can see. I think it's a screwdriver, an ice pick. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was
Yeah,
a stabby item.
and it
My
was a
boy
vertical hit,
Toby.
like, oh, poor
Yeah,
Toby.
well, cause you could see it like in his mouth when he like opened his mouth. You could see the thing through into his mouth. It was pretty. It was like,
Yeah.
So I remember the tool, and it was in fact a scalpel.
was it
Um,
okay?
I think so. I'm pretty sure it
Oh,
was because
I was convinced it was.
we commented on the why would you have a scalpel in a
What?
Yeah,
non-lock drawer?
that was
No,
for a
that's
different thing,
episode
though.
2. Yeah, that's episode 2.
Oh, oops!
I
I'm
don't
so
think this was
sorry.
a scalpel.
Well,
I think it was either a screwdriver or an ice pick, which, granted, why would
either
there be an
way,
ice
my
pick? So it's
poor
most
boy
likely.
Toby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
poor t
Toby did not. Did
He
not
didn't deserve that.
he went out the way well, no offense, he went out the way Lauren wants to go, like, "Get me out of here before it's even nightfall
Um,
once."
I really wanna clarify, I do not wanna be stabbed with any sort of instrument.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you, because that did
Okay.
not look like a slow death. Or
Ah,
sorry, it did not look like a quick death. I don't want a slow death. But,
fair.
no, that looked a little bit more traumatic than I'm looking for. Like pills or just, like, something quick. That's
So,
my go.
okay, no screwdriver or whatever to the under chin. Gotcha.
No. No, no. There's a lot
But,
of ways that you could mess that up and I would survive and then just be in pain, and that just does not. No, thank you. I'm good.
fair. But also, like, this part to the story for me was like, "Okay, cool, so the monsters are calling from inside the house too." Like, great.
Yes. It opened up another avenue of, or, like, another dimension to these monsters of, like, "Oh, maybe it's not as safe as you think it is." Like, your plan to survive them is not as straightforward. And, like, do these monsters evolve? But, like, we can get into that later.
Yeah. Yep.
Or what if it's not the monsters talking to her and she is just going a little crazy from being stuck in this situation?
Right, because you don't know who these people driving into town are.
Right.
Well,
So,
that and literally, not even like a full, like, 20 minutes ago in the episode, she was fine. She was like, "Oh, that's the worst part." Like,
Yeah.
fairly sound of mind, or at least it appeared to be. And then now she's just uppercutting poor Toby. Like, I mean, I get it, he screwed up, but he didn't need that.
Well, and I don't know, when we were first watching this and she stabbed him, like, one of the things that crossed my mind was like, is this a different monster, or like is she one of them and somehow is able to get in or like move during the day? Like, because we hadn't like seen the heard any voices at this point yet, I don't
Oh my
think.
god, I'm so glad I wasn't the only one like, "What? What are you one?"
Yeah.
no, and that's the thing is there's so many mysteries to this show that, like,
Yeah.
what's
And this
going
is
on?
only in the first episode. So like there's so much that at least Beans and I don't know about. And you
And
could just be laughing at us while
I
we
can yeah, I can
throw
giggle
random
in the
stuff out.
background waiting for the
Yes.
moment, like, "Yes,
Like,
ha ha
you'll
ha."
see in about 20 hours worth of television. You'll know.
Yeah. So, Jim stays with Christy and Sheriff Boyd overnight to help with Ethan. They do, Christy starts working on Ethan, and Boyd starts taking blankets and other items to block all the windows in the RV and make the RV safe. Uh, Kenny, Ellis, Tabitha, Julie, Father Kotry, and Jade drive back to town, but they forgot that the damn spike strip is still down in the road.
So infuriating.
So the truck's tires go flat. It is getting very dark at this point. They decide that they can probably run to Colony House and hope they let them in. They get all of the newcomers out of the truck and tell them they need to run to the house. No matter what you hear, no matter what you see, don't stop.
Which
Cool.
is so comforting. Like, "Oh, okay, perfect. Let me do that." What?
Yeah. No, what a first night. So back at the RV, Jim asks Sheriff Boyd about what he means by make the RV safe when Ethan wakes up and has a seizure. They start to hear like these screeches from the forest, and Boyd looks out to see some normal looking people, if a little 50s era clothing, walking in the forest and up to the RV, and that is how episode 1 ends. All the
Really good
cliffhangers.
cliffhanger. Yeah, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I think overall for, like, a first episode, it's good. I was fully convinced that this was gonna be, like, one of those shows where they introduce a family and make you think that, like, they're a big part of it, but then end the episode just, like, killing them all off. Like, this is how horrible this town is. But they didn't. So, yeah, I'm curious to see how they, adapt to this world.
Yeah, and at this point, I know you guys have seen episode 2 already, but, like, what were your thoughts with this world, or was it too open to kind of have theories at this point?
I had more questions than I did theories.
Yeah.
Um, like, how does this happen? Is this like a self-contained little bubble universe? Did we piss a genie off? What happened? Why the birds? There's been almost no other like context because you don't see them flying around the town. So it almost felt random, but it's enough to lure you in because now you have so many questions that you really do want
Right.
answers to. So
Yeah.
you want to watch more, and I think that's great. That's it's great cinematography on their end.
Yeah, it's good writing to leave you with way more questions than answers 'cause I think at this point we don't have any answers. Um, so it leaves you with enough questions that you're like, "I at least need to watch one more episode to see is the RV even safe or are they
Right.
just sitting there ready to die in the next like 5 minutes?" So I think that that was a good decision on their part and like yeah, I was filled with so many questions at this point. Like one of the big ones for me that I still have is where are these monsters in the daylight? Do they vanish? Do they just have like holes in the ground in the woods? Like what's their deal during the day? And yeah, where does all their food and all that come from? And also like how are I get that like people drive down this road, see a tree felled and are stuck. But is there like some force that's choosing who gets stuck and like lets other people through because they're not ones meant for the town? Like what
Right. I was
yeah.
thinking that. I was like, would this not be more common? Because it seemed like when they were coming off of the highway, right, that it was just an exit. It wasn't like an unmarked exit or
Right.
anything like that. It was just like, hey, I'm here. Let's go down this road. Like, wouldn't it be more common for people to be coming through?
Yeah.
Because the amount of little towns I've driven through when I was on a road trip or something,
Same. Yeah.
like, I guess I'm happy I didn't, run into a bunch of
Accidentally do
birds
this
or
one. Yeah.
trees, but,
Well,
like, how is there not more?
and for everyone to be so surprised about there being that second car there, it's like, okay, so you've never had two cars on the same day before. How many days do you have between newcomers? Like, is this like a once a year kind of thing? Once a month? Once every 96 days? And that's how we get incidents? I got questions. I got a lot
And
of questions.
and
And there
I do have a mild theory about possibly the why there's only so many cars. It could be a numbers game. Right? Because we
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
what kind of force is behind this. I mean, we just lost 2 people and, well, we could take 4 in and then just off 2 of them, and then I'll have my number that I need. It could be something like that too.
yeah, and
Mathematical demons. Love it.
Love it. This is my
they
2
They're
favorite things,
organized.
math and demons.
they have a
Organized
spreadsheet.
demons. Yes. Oh, spreadsheets.
Spreadsheet demon fit right in. I'd be best friends with them.
Yeah, they would hire us to help them with the organization. I can feel it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and
Yeah.
some of the questions that you guys have asked will have answers and some will not.
Okay. The spreadsheet
So,
one, I'm sure, is gonna be, like, the first one answered.
absolutely. Yeah, episode 3. Definitely has them
Perfect.
at a computer at a spreadsheet. Uh,
Underground in the forest, and that's where they are during the day, is just working on their spreadsheets.
yeah.
That's why the kids are so drawn to open windows. They wanna go help with the spreadsheets. They need to learn.
Yes.
I mean,
Exactly, okay.
that would be me.
Yeah, yeah, but also, like, the talismans are something that, like, I am curious about because like, I they look like an ancient carving stone like, carved stone, ancient carvings on it. Like, who learned that that would work? And how are the like, are they able to make more of them? I don't know. I got more questions.
Well, I guess
Anytime
it
I say
depends on
something,
how
I think
long
of another one.
I guess it depends on how long this has been going on and how many generations at this point this town has seen because this
Right.
could be passed down information. For all we know, we could be looking at indigenous folks who have having to deal with this and this could have been going on for that long. And this is
Yeah.
just something that they've passed down like, "Hey, you want to survive, you listen to me."
No, those are yeah, that's all really interesting. I like it.
I can
I
hear, like, the
like it.
laughter on the edge of your voice. You're like, "Haha, I know
And
something.
she's
I
like,
know
"These
something you
idiots."
don't know." These idiots know nothing, and we don't. We know absolutely nothing.
So that was the end of episode 1 of a very, very cool series that I am so excited to talk more about with you guys and to get your thoughts on, and, yeah, I'm very excited for this, and I hope you ladies are too.
Yes, obviously, yes. You had talked about it, like, a month ago when you were watching it, and I looked it up to see if I could watch it, but couldn't find anywhere, because I don't know if we mentioned this, but it's on Amazon through, like, the MGM subscription add-on, which I didn't have, so I didn't watch it, and I'm really glad that it worked out that way, because otherwise, I don't know that we'd be here. So, yeah, I'm excited. It's so far, it's very intriguing, and I like a show that will make me think.
Awesome. So that is the end of this episode for us, and thank you so much for joining us on our first episode of Ope, I Found a Weird Show. And we look forward to continuing this with the next episode soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.